So today I wondered, how much XP has GamerBoy80 collected in his entire time of playing Bedwars? And then I also wondered, how many minutes has GamerBoy80 been in game on Bedwars since he first started playing? I wondered about these questions, and I figured the numbers would be pretty big, which I decided to try to get out the handy calculator and figure it out myself. I've gotten an answer that I think is pretty good, and I've also built a math formula that could help you figure out your total XP gain and also the amount of time you've been in game. Now, unless Hypixel changes the Bedwars XP system, this is pretty much the best way to calculate this. So here's my notepad. As you can see, there's a lot of big numbers here and not much to explain it. You probably don't understand the half of what you're reading. So I'm just going to kind of go over this piece by piece. Most of the stuff up here doesn't matter. Most of the good stuff is down here, but I'll get to it later. Okay, so I use GamerBoy80 as my test subject for this little experiment. Basically, up here, this is the total amount of XP that he got from wins. This is the total XP bonus. So in order to get this number, all you have to do is take someone's wins and multiply them by 100. And that's the amount of Bedwars XP they get from the wins bonus. Because, you know that little bit of XP that you get every time you win? If you win once, you get 100 XP. So therefore, that's the number I got. And for the quest, assuming that you do all your daily quests for 7 days in a row, and you do the weekly quest, every week you should get 6,750 Bedwars experience. And so I then calculated for GamerBoy80 that at around average he should get 497,475 Bedwars XP in the time that he's been playing, which is about 14 months. Now, this number is not going to be exact because I doubt that GamerBoy actually did every single quest every day and never missed a single one. The chances are that are really unlikely. And this little playtime thing right here, this is not accurate, really. A huge part of the formula is the amount of time you're in game, because the two ways to get Bedwars experience, there's three ways actually. Two ways to get Bedwars experience other than quests is to sit in the game and play for 1 minute or win. So I have the wins XP up there, but I need the playtime XP. So in the total amount of games that GamerBoy80 has played, let's assume that every single game he played lasted 3 minutes. He would get 1,669,725 Bedwars XP. But if every game he played lasted 7 minutes, he would get 4,452,600 XP. It's somewhere in between this range because most good or strategic players can finish solo and doubles games in around this time period. And for triples and fours, it's mostly 2 through 5 minutes, around there. And then I try to figure out how much XP is total to get to level 1004. And I believe level 1 it requires you 500 XP, then level 2 requires 1000 XP, then level 3 requires 2000. I believe after that it becomes 5000 like normal. But if I'm wrong, please tell me, because I kind of just guessed on here. I didn't have any resources to figure it out myself. And most of the stuff down here isn't really important. This was kind of just me figuring it out, and then later I realized most of this was wrong. The total amount of games he has played is 22,263. That's in all modes, wins and losses. The total amount of times he clicked play is that many times. This is the amount of XP GamerBoy got without the win bonus wins for solo doubles. Then for triples and fours without the win bonus, he got that many for wins. And then for losses, he got this amount of XP without the win bonus. Well, actually, there is no win bonus for losses, so it's kind of the same thing. This is the amount of XP he got without the win XP and the quests counted. This is just straight up gameplay XP. And if you take this number and you divide it by 25, because that's the amount of XP you get every minute, this is the amount of minutes Gamer Boy 80 has played in-game. This doesn't, take in mind that this doesn't include lobbies, chilling in the Bedwars lobby, or win screens, or being AFK, or anything like that. This only takes into account you in the game. And so then if you take those total minutes, you divide it by 60, you get hours, and then divide it by 24, and for me, I got 93 days played. Gamer Boy has spent 93 days just straight playing Bedwars, without loading times, without sitting in lobbies. If you include the amount of time he spent sitting in lobbies, this would probably jump way into triple digits. So, that's a pretty long time to play, not gonna lie. And then out of the 14 total months he's been playing, or 14 total amount of months Bedwars, the full release has existed, he's played about 3 months out of. Which I agree with that number, because even if you account into sleep and school and other factors, he spends about a third of his day playing Bedwars. Which I'm pretty sure he does, considering he's 1004 star. So here's where we get to our calculator. This is the formula that I came up with to calculate the amount of total XP a player has gained. Total XP gained equals W, parenthesis, Y times 25, parenthesis, plus 100, parenthesis, plus W, parenthesis, Y times 25, parenthesis, plus 100, parenthesis, plus L, parenthesis, Y, parenthesis, plus L, parenthesis, Y, parenthesis, Y, frick, plus T, parenthesis, 6,750, parenthesis. That was long, and I still didn't say the full formula. Okay, so let me explain everything I just said. W means wins, Y equals average minutes per game, L equals losses, and T equals amount of weeks played. About the average minutes per game, this is the thing that kind of got on my nerves. This is average. Unless you know the amount of time it took for every single game you've played, you can't get an accurate number here. You have to assume. Like, for example, let's say I assume every solo game I play takes 5 minutes. Well, that's impossible, because not every single game lasted 5 minutes. Some lasted 10, some lasted 20, some lasted 4 minutes. It's impossible to predict, which got on my nerves, but then again, that's why I said this is an estimate. You can't get a perfect number here. And so what I explained here, total XP gain equals wins times average minutes per game times 25 plus 100. Plus 100 is the win bonus. And this is for solo and doubles right here. This is for triples and fours, this is for solo and doubles, and this is for triples and fours. It's a lot wins and losses of both modes, or both groups of modes. And then for this one, it's an exact copy of this one, just for triples and fours. And then this one is the amount of losses times the amount of average minutes per game. Notice how there isn't a plus 100, because these are losses. It doesn't include the win bonus, because you lost. This is for solo and doubles. Then for triples and fours, you do the exact same thing. And this is your quests. T equals amount of weeks played. And every week, if you do every single quest, you should get 6,750 XP, and that's just where that number comes from. So that is the formula, and I to make sure that it worked to the best of its ability, I calculated Gamer Boy's total XP and my total XP. So I took the total amount of wins Gamer Boy has in solo and doubles. I assumed it would take him about 7 minutes every solo and doubles game to win, times 25 with the win bonus, and then I took his total amount of triples and fours wins, which is about 10,686. I assumed that every game would take about 4 minutes to win, times 25 plus 100 with the win bonus again, And then he has 1,336 losses in solo and doubles, and I multiplied that by 7, which was the number I used for average minutes per game. I assumed that every loss in solo and doubles takes 7 minutes. Once again, this is the problem here. I can't predict exactly how much minutes every game will last. And then for triples and fours, he has 568 losses, and I did times 4, which is what I did over here with the wins. And he has played Bedwars for 118 weeks, times 6,750. And for mine, my total amount of wins are 2,052. I assumed that I would take about 8 minutes to win. Now, nowadays, I would take about 5 minutes to win a solo and doubles game, but back then, I was pretty bad at the game, and it might take up to 10 minutes, so I found a middle ground between 5 and 10. And times 25 plus 100, I have 445 triples and fours wins. I assume that every game would take about 5 minutes, because when I'm playing with leaderboard players, it takes 3 minutes. When I'm playing with like Ender or someone else, it takes longer, so I found a middle ground here. Times 25 plus 100, I've lost solo and doubles 1,547 times. I took that 8 number here, and I've had 196 losses in triples and fours, and I assumed the 5 here. I looked at Skier Club player history, and I found out that I started playing about a year ago in September. It was about like the beginning of September, so that's about 48 weeks times 650. The results I got, I was pretty okay with. I don't remember what the numbers were, but the number that I got was about a fifth of Gamer Boy's, which I thought was pretty accurate because I have played a fifth of the time that Gamer Boy has. I think he's played the game 5 times longer than I have. And if you just want the total XP, then this formula is just fine for you. But if you want to find the total amount of time played, then what you do, you take this formula. It's a lot shorter than this one. This is without the quests and the win bonuses. This is just raw gameplay amount of time. You do this formula, you divide by 25, you get the total amount of minutes in game. This is what I did up here, except I'm putting in a formula. Then you do divide by 60, you get the total amount of hours, and then you divide it by 24, and you get the total amount of days. And if you're really crazy, you can go by weeks or months or however long. Yep, that's this little calculator that I made for determining Bedwars stats. I hope you get some use out of it. Once again, you won't get an exact number, but this is the best this is the best formula that I can offer for this kind of thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Later, nerds.